Now the Yankees. I was coming into today saying the vibes were high. Vibes are no longer high to me.
I mean,
We'll,
one
we'll, we'll,
game.
we'll get there though, but they are 4-2 since last week in this tough stretch that Dylan you've really been talking about for now a couple weeks.
Yep.
I told you they were going to go 2-1 versus Houston and 2-1 versus Toronto. At this point,
Sign me up for it.
I would have told you that you're crazy for even thinking that was a possibility. Because I just didn't think that was going to happen. I didn't think it had a remote chance to happen. They are 80-63. One more win, they secure a 500 season. Two more, they secure their winning season. And they've had a winning season every year since 1992. 93, I should say.
Yep.
92 was the last time they had a losing season. And coincidentally, that was the last time, that was when they drafted Jeter. So since they drafted Derek Jeter, the Yankees have not had a losing season.
Yeah, and I don't expect them to this year.
No, I mean, that would be the most ultimate.
That'd be catastrophic. The Yankees, they've impressed me. And I know that tonight's game, as the night we're recording Tuesday night, they're going to lose by probably double digits to the Tigers. It's 11-2 after a seventh inning collapse that we saw.
They were 2-2. The score was 2-2 going into the seventh.
Yeah, I mean, it was terrible, but I do want to focus bigger picture still and not get caught up in the emotions of tonight's terrible loss. Again, 4-2 versus Houston and Toronto. You'll take that.
7-3 in their last 10.
Yep, also tied for the best in baseball over that stretch. No team in baseball 8-2 in the last 10. A couple of 7-3 teams. And listen, at the end of the day, an 11-2 loss counts the same in the loss column as a 3-2 loss. Maybe you go get the next two versus Detroit. But if you lose the series to Detroit, we'll talk about Boston in a little bit. But if you told me that in that stretch of Houston, Toronto, Detroit, and Boston, the Yankees were going to win 3 of those 4 series even, I would have signed up for that, no problem. And of all the teams, Detroit being where they are, probably the least concerning team to beat, I would say. Toronto and Boston, obviously, in your division that you're trying to win up at the top. And then Houston, where you could be pushing to compete with them for a 2 or a 3 spot if you win your division. I'm here for it. I think that the Yankees have been playing solid baseball. Max Fried, over his last couple starts, is really getting back to Max Fried from the beginning of the year. Rodon is solid. Bednar has really emerged as the closer for this team. Judge, his bat has been rolling. He's finally back out in the field. It hasn't been pushing the arm too much. We'll see how things go there. But the lineup is still, on paper, the best in the AL, potentially. You could compete with Houston. I would take the Yankees, but
Tucker or Tuckerless Houston.
I feel good about where the Yankees are at despite the game today. If you had we talked about it ad nauseum like a week or so ago, but I didn't see them winning multiple series in this upcoming stretch of those 4 big series that we talked about, and they've already won 2. Yeah. So even if they, as long as if they lose a series, they lose 1-2 to Detroit, I don't want to see a sweep.
The sweep should be catastrophic.
If they lose 1-2, I don't want to see them lose to Boston. But even if they went 500 in this stretch, we said we would have signed up for it a week ago.
Yeah, but that always changes. It's what have you done for me?
Yeah.
The Yankees are 2 back at Toronto, like we said earlier. They're only 1 up on Boston for that second wild card. So that series this weekend is going to be insane, classic Yankees, Red Sox. It just shows that why this will be the biggest rivalry in baseball history.
And the Yankees, I don't want to say have to win the first 2 games of that series, but Sunday night baseball is Will Warren versus Garrett Crochet, which is the 3rd game of that series.
Yeah, no, let's win those first 2 games. We are 4.5 up on Seattle for that 3rd wild card, 6 up on Texas, who is the next team out.
And then again, you finish the year with Minnesota, Baltimore, Chicago, Baltimore.
The Yankees have a little bit of cushion. They're going to likely be a playoff team. And I think even at the lowest, we both kind of said that they're going to make the playoffs. And it's just a matter of how much noise they do make. And for most of the season, the Yankees and the Mets pretty much had the same record, were the same games back. They were the same team. the Yankees have kind of surpassed the Mets slightly at the very least, to the
Yeah.
point where you said the Mets were a one and done playoff team. Do you feel the same about the Yankees?
I think opponent's going to play a pretty big role in my confidence level there. If say Houston were to fall to the 4 and the Yankees were the 5, or I don't know if I'd pick New York over Houston in a playoff series right now. We did just see them win that. The series with Boston's going to tell me a lot, man. The series with Boston is going to tell me a lot. What does this team do in Fenway over a weekend series, biggest series of the season?
I'm having deja vu because I feel like we've said this series this weekend versus Boston is going to tell us a lot.
Well, we're almost out of time, so this one definitely is the last chance. I mean, because the series versus Minnesota, Baltimore, Chicago, Baltimore isn't going to, like, sure, I guess if they lose all those games, it would tell me something, but
yeah,
I think I'm going to end up believing in this team to win a playoff series. I'd be nervous for whenever they run into Houston. I can't lie there. I'd be pretty pessimistic just off of Yankee scar tissue of facing the Astros in the playoffs. But they have a greater than 0% shot to make a World Series run.
Yeah, and I mean, we were saying it last year how it feels like the Yankees need to beat Houston in the playoffs, exercise those demons, because this wasn't just, 2020, the 2020s or 2017. This goes all the way back to 2015 in Masahiro Tanaka's first career playoff start, the one-game wild card versus Houston where they knocked us out. Back before anybody even really knew who Jose Altuve was, Dallas Keuchel was on the mound for the Astros then. Like
What a name!
This has been a long time coming for the Yankees and the Astros, for the Yankees to flip that narrative on its head. And I do think that if the Yankees are going to win a World Series, whether it's this year, next year, ever, they need to beat this iteration of the Astros because one, it'll make it that much sweeter, and two, it feels like you really did earn it.
Do you worry about, in the NFL, I would comp this to Bills Chiefs, right? Where everybody knows Buffalo's a good team, but Kansas City gets them every time. If the Yankees faced off with Houston in an ALDS, ALCS and won, is there a letdown of we did it? But that's not it. like we finally got over that hump, but then that's not the hump. Like that's not the title.
No, you might spend all that.
Like part of me wonders if they'd be better off not playing Houston and not validating that sense of success off of what's not the World Series.
I guess the way I look at it is because we did see the Yankees on a World Series losing run last year, is that the best way to play the Astros would be to face them in the ALCS because you get a World Series feel right before hopefully going to the World Series.
And a break.
Right. So, like, the emotions are high. You win that big series. You feel like you can beat anybody once you beat them.
Although, the way the standings are, it feels virtually impossible to get to those standings at this point in time. I mean, a lot would have to happen.
No, not at all. Because they don't reseed.
No, I know. That's exactly why.
The Yankees are on pace. Yankees, Red Sox.
I guess right now, if things stayed exactly as they are, it could happen.
Right.
If the Yankees overtook the division, then things get a little difficult. Depending on what Detroit does.
Right. If Detroit stays at the 2.
I guess it's not impossible, but
I think it's more likely than not if the Yankees either win the division or come in the 4 seed.
It's tough to pencil it in, but the Yankees do have the second best run differential in baseball at plus 140. It's hard to look at that number and not think that this team has the potential. They have the overall best offense in baseball this season in terms of runs scored.
And then part of that is Aaron Judge, who I did want to mention, surpassed Yogi Berra for the first time since the 1950s.
Yep.
The Yankees' top 5 home run list has changed. Judge sits alone, and now he's only a few homers shy of knocking down DiMaggio.
I saw, and it's just a random question for you, but somebody asked if Aaron Judge would be a Yankee Mount Rushmore. And do you think he has to win a World Series to enter that plethora?
I think he does need to win a World Series, and I'm going to cut him some slack. Just one.
Yeah, he has to win at least one to get on. Yeah, and it's a Yankee list. Like,
Right. And now the Yankees Mount Rushmore, it's tough because how do you weigh new versus old? Like, there's arguments that hold Derek Jeter off of Yankees Mount Rushmore.
yeah, I think for me,
Like, who do you take off to put Judge on? And no matter what you do, it's going to sound crazy. Like, do you take off Yogi Berra? The
I
greatest.
think mine's gonna like you said. There's just so many greats, and some of it obviously, some of this is gonna be biased to what I grew up watching. So before some historian kills me in the comment section, I'm fully willing to admit that. For me, Ruth, Mantle, Jeter, Rivera. Good luck.
But I don't think, as long as your list includes Ruth, Mantle, Jeter, Rivera, Gehrig, DiMaggio, Berra, as long as it has those guys
Yeah.
in there, you can add in a Whitey Ford.
Judge is also now once again the favorite to win MVP. By the way,
Yes, and Judge deserves to be in that conversation. That
you got to win.
can't be wrong when you make your Mount Rushmore with those guys, but you need a ring to do it.
And you also, for Judge, what'd you do in October? I mean, not MVP numbers.
No, but somehow, surprisingly, he is pretty high on the October home run list, but that's also because of the sheer amount of games he has played.
Yep.
But let's highlight some games because I want to talk about that Yankees Red Sox series a little bit more.
Yep.
That's gonna be the series I think you want to highlight, right?
Yeah, that's my weekly series highlight. The Yankees travel to Fenway over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday matchup versus the Boston Red Sox. Ultimately, this is probably the most important series of the season for both teams, I would say. Could certainly determine who ends up getting home field advantage in a wild card matchup between these two teams. Friday, Luis Gil versus Lucas Giolito. Saturday, Max Fried versus Brian Bayo. Sunday, Will Warren versus Garrett Crochet. Sunday Night Baseball, too.
The Yankees don't do well on Sunday Night Baseball.
Yeah, that's why I said I think the Yankees need to win on Friday and Saturday.
This is going to be either a really fun weekend or a really, really rough weekend that really makes you reconsider a lot of things.
Not a bold prediction, but a prediction. Giancarlo Stanton has a monster weekend.
Does he get hit by a ball thrown from over the top of the Green Monster?
They'll try.
Wouldn't be the first time that's happened.
They'll miss, though.